Well, good morning, guys, and welcome to the show. Today is going to be part 2 of the DAX800XR direct replacement radio. Fernando, are you ready for this?
Yes, I'm ready.
Let's hop into it. We're going to break this video into 2 separate pieces. The first video is going to be about the operating system and how it works. The second one will be the audio system and how it works. When the unit first powers up, if it's left to sit, that demo mode comes on, which is very annoying. You're going to want to shut that off. But to do that, you need to go through a couple steps first. The first one is your choice of language. Secondly is clock. Set up your time zone. This will make things much easier to do it now at the beginning than later. In this case, we're in the Eastern time zone. And whether you want 12 or 24 hour. Select the back arrow. Display buttons. Icons selection. This will take you to your clock. There's 8 new clocks to choose from. If you want to go like aviator style, race car style, this kind of looks like an iPhone-ish, or just leave it the way it was. Let's go race car. View angle. The view angle is for depending on how low in the dash is going to be and how your eyes are off axis from the radio. As you adjust through them, as you'll notice, it will change and get brighter and dimmer, and that will help the screen's visibility for you to see it while you're driving in sunlight and during the day and all of those other things. Now, everything that is in the setup menu we can go back to later, so if you're watching this after someone has installed your vehicle, don't worry, we'll go back in and show you where that's at. Then last, we have camera. When we were showing you the wiring harness, you saw that this had 4 camera inputs. When you hit the camera assignment, this is where all those are at. Rear comes default on, but then we have front view dash cam. Come in here and we can select what we want it to be. Now, if there is the dedicated Kenwood dash cam connected to it, it'll auto-populate this area here and you do not have to do anything. You'll also notice that you have the option to mirror the camera or leave the camera in standard mode. Standard mode in most cameras means it's for a backup, and if you put it in the front of the car, left will be right, right will be left, so you'll definitely want to turn on your mirrored option. You can do the same for your third view, which would be, let's say, that side. We'll turn that on and we'll come to video in. This gives us the option. Now, if you'll notice, it does not have mirrored, so whatever camera you're going to hook up to this, which can be any one of them, make sure that it is automatically mirrored before you use it if you need it to be. Select enter, go back. Rear view camera message. This gives us the ability to turn it off after 5 seconds. So if your camera is low and it's blocking your view, definitely turn this on so that goes away when you're in reverse. Parking guidelines on and off, and of course setup guideline. On this page, this allows you to tap into one of the corners here and move the guidelines around. This will also be the feature you'll leave on if your car has dynamic parking lines and you want to retain them, or if your car didn't have dynamic parking lines and the iData interface is going to add them. In the case that your factory cameras in there already has lines on it but they're not dynamic and move, simply take these and drop them over your existing lines that you have, and then you can see your dynamic lines as you turn. If your car does not have dynamic lines but it already has lines, then simply turn parking lines off if you don't want them at all, and they will not appear. Once we're done setting up the camera, where it says Maestro and vehicle, they're grayed out right now because we don't have a Maestro module connected to this. Those will be highlighted. Inside of those, you can adjust the gain. If this has an amplifier, anything Maestro related can be turned on and off or accessed through that. Vehicle features are going to be anything that was in the vehicle before you put this radio in that was in the radio. They will be transferred over to your new Kenwood radio. And then demo off, and now we don't have to worry about that taking the screen over anymore. The most important new feature is this last one, which is easily overlooked because you bang through the radio and just want to get it going, but don't do that. Is system configuration, where a lot of the new features that separate these radios from the old radios are located. First one is fiber optic output. When we get to the audio portion of this, we'll talk more about it, along with the crossover 2-way or 3-way option and the built-in amplifier. amplifier. What's most important when setting this up is the installation orientation. That has to do with the radio brain and whether it is going to sit flat in the dash like it normally would, or if it's going to be mounted horizontal somewhere in the vehicle. Say for example in the Chevy where it goes up in the kick, you need to make sure that you change the orientation to vertical. Otherwise you're going to get a warning that there's something wrong with the installation, and or the pitch and roll feature of the radio will be wrong. When you're done with everything here, top left hand corner is finished. This screen just sits here. If you'd like it to go away after 10 seconds, tick the box, hit agree, and it'll be gone after 10 seconds. It's just something that's always going to happen. Most of the time if you're going into reverse, it'll automatically be gone before you even know it was there. Welcome to your home page. Here on the home page you get a layout that is somewhat customizable. This is the watch we chose, so now we have calendar, date, day of the week. It's pretty exciting, has a lot of information. Tap the 4 squares, we can add a compass instead of the watch. We can have our backup camera or our side camera or whatever camera we turned on displayed at all times. And if we tap it, it'll automatically take us to said camera. Tap it again, you get what we're going on here. If you tap right in the center here, you'll see that red X that's hidden. That will delete that. And we can also have the EQ with subwoofer level here. Going back to the watch, next on the list is this bottom piece of information here. This is our source description menu. I'm going to turn on the HD radio just so we can have some information here, and this gives us basic channel up and down, track back and forth, and if we hit the icon in the corner, now we have our presets here across the bottom that we can scroll through. There are a lot of presets, and the artwork for the channel or whatever they're advertising will appear here in the screen. If I want to move the watch from the right to left side, I can do that. If I tap on the source menu like this, it will pull up the source that we're listening to. If we do not like the watch that we're looking at, if we tap the screen, it will pull up the other 8 watches and allow us to change to those. Might be something more that you're interested in. At the top of the screen, there's 4 little icons. If we scroll across, we can see the pitch and roll, and if the vehicle is going down a bumpy road, it would be doing this. You can have a picture that happens around in the back. This is usually the EQ. Across the bottom, we have our 4 sources that are quick keys, so we can get to those really fast. And in the left corner, we see the 9 box. If we tap that, that will pull up everything that this radio has in it. Some features may be grayed out. There's a page 2 where you can see even more features, such as gauge, cluster, and climate control. When using the iData, those will be highlighted if they're needed in that particular application. From this page, we can treat this kind of like a cell phone in that we can press and hold, the boxes will appear, and we can move and design our own bottom 4 to fit more your lifestyle. You'll also notice there's a gear in the corner, which will take us back out to the setup page. And that same gear is located here on the left when we're in the main menu page. This radio ships to you with only one source, and that is the FM radio. Everything else is something you're going to have to plug into it, such as CarPlay, Android Auto, an aux of some sort. Your clock is located in the bottom right hand corner. So this is the basic layout for the home screen. If we jump into the source menu, such as AM, FM, on this we see the basic layout for pretty much every menu that we have. If we tap the arrow key over here, we have access to our preset radio stations. If we tap the arrow key on the right, it's going to give us the direct 10 key if we wanted to type in a station that we knew what it was. You have channel up and down. You'll notice there's a little EQ right here. If you tap that, it'll take you directly out to the EQ. Now the difference between channel up and down and track back and forth are the HD tuner. Channel up and down will take you through the HD tuner when set to auto 1. On auto 2, if you hit the channel back and forth buttons, it's going to take you through your presets. Best practice is when you get the unit, use auto 1 to go and find your stations. It's going to scan through those and try to find something that it likes. and then you can make all your presets by simply tapping over here. Once you have all your presets set up, switch it to Auto 2 so that you can then just go through your presets. There is a third option if you tap, which is manual. Manual is if you can't get that channel to come in, you can simply just tap through one channel at a time until you find the channel you're looking for. There's an arrow at the top of the page. This will bring in the full menu system for the radio. Your devices, you can have up to 5 paired at a time. Screen adjustment. When adjusting your screen, that it has 2 different modes, daytime and nighttime, and those modes will only be affected if you adjust it at nighttime or if you adjust it at daytime. In a nutshell, if it's too bright at nighttime and you turn it down, it will not affect the daytime use. Display off is the next feature. If you tap that, it does that. It just turns the display off. There again, this is very handy if driving at nighttime and this display is too much and you don't want to adjust the backlighting. You can just turn it off, and then if you tap it, it'll come back on and easily go back in and turn it off. Everything will still function, it'll still talk to you, it'll still give all your Android and Apple turn-by-turns and fun stuff like that. Camera. This is a quick shot to the camera. This is why when installing a camera, we do recommend you connect it to an accessory power, not the reverse power, so that you can see those cameras at all time. ATT stands for attenuation. If pulling up to that drive-through, or if you're yelling at those kids in the back seat and you hit attenuate, it will lower it down. It'll still play, but it's just going to be at a lower volume. If you turn the volume up, it'll automatically bypass the attenuation. In the top right-hand corner, it says apps. If you tap it, this is going to take you out to your Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Once in those modes, if you tap the Kenwood button, it will take you back. Across the bottom of the page, we have the X button, which will just close the menu. Home, which takes you back to here. So let's say we're in HD radio, we tap the arrow, we select home, it will take us back to the home page. Now next to home, we have volume up and volume down. If for some reason the steering wheel controls or the knob or something stop working, you can access those 2 features here. Then we have AV off. That is just going to shut the radio down. Tap it and it'll come back on. If your steering wheel does not have the voice icon, you can tap this. It'll launch whatever you're using, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and that will listen to you, and you can tell it to make calls or go somewhere or anything along those lines. That way the radio still has functionality if for some reason buttons are not working. Our 4 sources here across the bottom, as well as our clock. With that, we have the basic understanding of the buttons that are available to us that you're going to be using more or less on a daily basis. Hitting the gear key, that brings us into the setup menu. Bluetooth, device list, device name, pin code. These are all features that are going to be used for your phone when connected. If you hit device list, it is going to show you the phones that are paired to it. Keep in mind there is a limit of 5. So if you need to, you have a trash icon here. You can tap the phone that you no longer are using, let's say when you get a new phone, and it'll delete the whole phone from the database, and then you can add a new phone by simply hitting the plus icon. In this page, anything that has anything to do with the phone, voice guidance, voice recognition volume, incoming call ring, in-call volume, talking, speech quality, they're all going to be located in this first connection in AV. The weird one that is in this page that kind of makes no sense is the built-in amplifier on and off. If you're just going to be using the preamp section with this radio and you would like to, you can come into here and turn off the built-in amplifier in the radio. The other thing that is on here, there again, that is kind of in a weird spot, is reverse with attenuation. This is a feature so when you are backing up, let's say you have the radio blaring, default is on, it'll automatically turn on the attenuation so that you can focus on backing up as opposed to a super loud radio. If you'd like to have a super loud radio while backing up, then you can turn this off and that'll make that feature go away. Displays and buttons. This is a more in-depth version of the page we did at startup where we could customize some of the basic features. Now we can customize all the features. So for example, when we first started up, we had that view angle. Here it is. Some of the other things that we can do, wallpaper customization. We can import our own, or we can use the ones that they have available to us. We can also, if we don't want the dimmer, like we don't want it to dim at nighttime, we want it constantly bright, we can come in here and select off. Clock icon is also located here. Screen transition effects. If the whiz bang, whirly twirly, all the motion that is happening is too much for you, you can turn it off. User interface is next. This has a beep, so every time you touch a button on your factory dash or do something where and you don't like that, which I'm not a big fan, you can turn that off. Main menu button displayed. You can turn off that little arrow there at the top of the page. If you want the backup lines, but you don't like the dynamic of them, you can come in here and turn that off. Camera is next. This is the same page as the startup menu. So if you've already set that up, you don't need to go into it. However, if somebody else set it up and you'd like to change something, it's all located right here. System is the last thing that you're going to need to know anything about, and that is only because the demo button is located here on the top. The other thing that you'll need to know is system information. If and when there's an update for this radio, this is where you're going to see what your current number is. See if the software that's currently out is above the radio that you have. Another feature on here that is important is initialize. Initialize is used if we got this radio, or it has been sitting on the shelf, or you've gone so far down the path you have no idea what you've done. If you initialize the radio, this will bomb the radio back to out-of-box spec. You can start over from scratch. It is not a reset. It is a total wipe of the radio, starting over from zero. And then the last two features that are on here, which are grayed out because we don't have it, are the Maestro here and the vehicle features. So those are all located in system. There you guys go. Those are all the settings for the radio as far as setting it up, how to put in your presets, making it look the way you want it to look. In the next video, we'll be diving into the audio portion of it and showing you all the cool stuff it does there. So stay tuned for that. But for right now, Fernando,
on to the next one, guys.
You guys have a great night as always, and we'll see you later next time.
Bye.
Bye.